So today we're going to be taking a little tour of RHS Hyde Hall, which is an amazing garden here in the United Kingdom. Of course, an official garden of the RHS Royal Horticultural Society, which gives us so much information on plants and such that I use in all my videos. And with it being the peak of summer, I thought it'd be a good idea to look at some of these borders and plant ideas and share some inspiration within a video. So let's check out some of the best ideas that can inspire us in our own gardens here at RHS Hyde Hall. By the way, I'm trying to hit 3,000 subscribers, so if you like gardening content, please consider subscribing. Now, one of the first places I explored here at RHS Hyde Hall was their cottage garden, which of course is the same as my own. I have a cottage garden and a lot of my viewers do too. So this was especially inspiring for me, and there were some really great plant combinations and ideas to be taken from here. I really love the focus on the asters at this time of the year, which of course are in flower and look absolutely beautiful. There were a lot of those. Something else that I particularly liked is how they had mixed in these absolutely giant sunflowers with all of their perennials. Of course, in a cottage garden, you definitely want to mix in some annuals with your perennial flowers, and I think sunflowers are a perfect one. Especially later on in the year, they look absolutely fantastic. There was definitely a focus on yellow at this time of the year too, with lots of the rudbeckia and yarrow and such, which I really enjoyed. For example, this combination here of this buddleia mixed in with the rudbeckia herbston was absolutely fantastic. I love it so much. Yellow and purple is a really great underrated color combination in my opinion. And yeah, it was just so good. The height of the buddleia mixed with the height of these rudbeckia, they just go together so well. So this is definitely a combination you could try in your own garden. At this time of the year, anemones are also in flower as well. I believe this one is Princess Charlotte, as far as I'm aware, or Queen Charlotte. I'll write it on the screen. I also loved how it was mixed in with the Persicaria and the buddleia once again at the back. Just some of these combinations are really fantastic. I feel like particularly having some yellow at the back of the border is a really good idea. It's almost kind of like looking at the sun behind everything else, so that could be something to try in your garden. Now, one of the biggest stars at RHS Hyde Hall at the moment was all of the perennial grasses, which look beautiful in their lovely golden colors. Lots of stipers and all kinds of other types out there that were really, really pretty. I loved how they mixed different types of foliage as well. Like we've got this particular shrub here in the middle of all these grasses in their modern garden, which is kind of more like a country style one. And yeah, I just love how they contrast so nicely. You've got the really dark foliage with all the light grasses. It just looks so good. They also kept up a lot of the alliums as well, which gave interest, so this border looked fantastic. Another plant that really stunned here at this time of the year was the Lythrum. I believe this one is Lythrum Dropmore Purple. It was mixed in with lots of Persicaria. I can't remember the exact name, or I don't think I saw it to be fair. But yeah, any type of Persicaria that grows nice and big should work well with this Lythrum. Just really great combinations. The Lythrum also stood out really nicely with a lot of the perennial grasses too. And another stunner in late summer was definitely the Echinacea White Swan, which I do have a lot of in my garden. I like how they've mixed in some of the Echinacea Purpurea as well. I just think the two of them look really cool. It's done very sort of randomly here, but it works. And another combination that I loved so much happened to be the Gora with the tall grasses. Now, I believe that one is Calamagrostis Carlforester. I'm probably pronouncing that totally wrong, but you'll be able to see it on screen. So yeah, definitely mix some Gora with your tall perennial grasses. It looks so good. And the asters at the front, which I think, if I'm correct, was Aster Monch. It also looked really incredible. So this particular combination of these three plants just works so well, and especially in late summer, it's just going to look so nice in your garden. I also love the fact that they left up so many of their dead seed heads to mix in with these plants. This sort of prairie planting scheme that you can see here with all of the grasses and the gora blowing in the wind alongside the dead seed heads and pods. It was just an absolutely incredible look. So there definitely must have been interest in this border pretty much all summer long, which is really cool. Never let anyone tell you you have to get rid of everything when it's dead. It can have its own purpose even after living and flowering, so definitely keep some seed heads up. They also had a beautiful garden where they displayed lots of the plants they were kind of trialing out and such, which I thought was really cool. So this was absolutely filled with annuals and things like dahlias and such. It also had lots of great ideas for plants that look fantastic in pots, like these Nemesia you can see here. I find them absolutely incredible, and even though they're technically an annual, I think you can keep them going. They also had lots of this beautiful yarrow, which I believe was plate of gold or cloth of gold, and they mixed that in so nicely with lots of the rudbeckia and other perennial grasses. I have this one in my garden, and it's one of my absolute faves. I also loved the verbena mixed in with the Echinacea purpurea and lots of these sort of feather reed grasses. It was such a nice combination. I think you've also got Allium millennium in there. Verbena is definitely a must-have in the garden in my opinion, and it looks great along these pathways. And once again along this pathway, you can see there was more of that Lythrum with the tall Carl Forrester grass, also mixed in with the Echinacea white swan. This combination is my favorite in the entire video. The whites with the really vibrant purples and then the grass at the back. It was absolutely stunning. Overall, there was just so much to take from this time of the year. I think Hyde Hall has done a really good job of showcasing what you can do at the end of the year in your garden. I love all the ideas about sort of keeping up lots of the plants that have already gone over and have died. Rather than deadheading them and taking all their seeds now, leave them up for a while and let them shine in their dead form, because they can look just as interesting and your garden looks a lot more natural like that. Even in some of their garden spaces which were designed to be a bit more manicured, they still did this. So if you tend to have more of a country garden, or your garden is not so sort of cottage core, don't worry, you can still use these sorts of ideas and take inspiration from them. Yellow was also definitely the star of the show here at this time of the year. It really took over everywhere, and honestly, I love it. Yellow perennials aren't always the most popular, sadly, which I think is such a shame because they're so beautiful. But truly, they were wonderful here at Hyde Hall, and they stood out so much. So I highly recommend that you have more of them in your own garden, especially at the backs of a border where maybe they won't overwhelm, but they will definitely show themselves off really nicely and give you a great backdrop of color. So yeah, definitely given me a lot of inspiration. I hope this has given you some inspiration too. Definitely be sure to share some of your favorite plants at the moment that you've got in your garden and some of your favorite ideas. I'm also going to do a video on late flowering perennials soon that can go into autumn as well, so stay tuned for that. If you made it to the end of the video, then be sure to subscribe. I would really appreciate it so I can hit my goal of 3,000 subscribers, and I'll catch you for more gardening content next time.